This is a map of the South Korean economy. A single organization controls 17% of its entire gross domestic product. To understand that weight, in 2014, Google generated $66 billion and Apple $183 billion. This 17% eclipsed them both. A financial footprint this massive usually belongs to a central bank or a sovereign wealth fund. Instead, it belongs to the company most people associate with consumer electronics and kitchen appliances, Samsung. This isn't a single business. It is a unified army of 80 legally independent affiliates, all operating under a shared corporate philosophy. This decentralized structure creates a corporate shield. It allows a quasi-sovereign empire to operate in the background, hidden behind the familiar face of a smartphone brand. The empire began in 1938 with Lee Byung-chul. He managed a small trading company with 40 employees that dealt in noodles and local groceries. They used grocery profits to expand into sugar and then into wool. By the late 1950s, they moved into insurance and retail securities. They didn't enter the electronics market until 1970. Their first tech product was this, a 12-inch black and white television. From that black and white set, the pace accelerated. By 1983, they released a personal computer that arrived 2 years ahead of the competition from Windows-based PCs. This history reveals their true corporate DNA. Samsung does not typically invent new markets. They observe them, iterate on existing products, and use brute industrial force to conquer the competition. That industrial force moves from microchips to global engineering and construction. The Burj Khalifa in Dubai is currently the tallest architectural structure on the planet. It was built by Samsung's engineering division. This wasn't a one-time project. They are also responsible for Malaysia's iconic Petronas Twin Towers. On the ocean, Samsung Heavy Industries operates a shipbuilding center spanning over 400 million square feet. They use this space to manufacture massive vessels that function like floating cities. They are constructing the macro infrastructure of the modern global supply chain, from the skyscrapers we work in to the ships that move the world's cargo. When a company reaches this level of influence over a nation's GDP and infrastructure, the distinction between a private corporation and a sovereign power begins to fade. This leads to Samsung Techwin, the company's division for aeronautics, surveillance, and weapons technology. Samsung manufactures the K9, a heavy artillery tank currently used by the South Korean military. They also developed autonomous sentry robots designed specifically to replace human soldiers along the border between North and South Korea. This is the duality of the empire. The same entity fighting for smartphone dominance is simultaneously manufacturing the tools for modern warfare. Even if you never see their tanks or construction sites, escaping their economic web is difficult. There is a famous irony in the history of the smartphone. The original Apple iPhone relied on a microchip manufactured by Samsung. Their control over hardware is a bottleneck for the entire industry. Today, Samsung dominates 98% of the global market for AMOLED screens. This operation is powered by 490,000 employees. As this chart shows, that is more personnel than Apple, Google, and Microsoft combined. Consumer choice becomes a calculation of which affiliate you pay. Whether you buy a competitor's phone or stay in a competitor's hotel, the financial trail often leads back to a Samsung account. Samsung does more than sell products. They fund major hospital systems, operate their own city, and provide the foundation for an entire national economy. They have moved past the traditional definition of a business to become a permanent, unavoidable pillar of global civilization. 17% of a nation's wealth, the construction of its infrastructure, and the arming of its borders represents immense leverage. It leaves us with a question about the power of the modern corporation. If an entity becomes this critical to a country's survival, what happens when its interests no longer align